been a partner at Deloitte for about 8.5 years. I lead our back office transformation practice, working with large corporates and governments, really around the whole range of how to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of their back office operations. Probably three trends I can think of pretty quickly. The first one is we're seeing a lot of organisations in the corporate sector really going back and looking pretty intensely at their overall operating model for whether it's finance, HR, a whole range of functional areas. That's really, in terms of what they're trying to do, I think is look at what further savings they can be delivered. But also really looking forward, how can they have a more sustainable operating model. The impact on that, on shared services that we're seeing, is we're seeing more activities coming in to shared services and a particular focus on building centres of excellence. And we're working with a number of organisations at the moment, really trying to put meat on the bones around the whole concept of reporting centres of excellence. It can be a very complex area given how complex reporting can be, but we're seeing a real trend in that area around centres of excellence. The second area that we've really seen over the last 18 months, which follows on from the first point, is a much greater acceptance, a serious acceptance of offshoring. And we see that will continue apace over the coming months, over the coming years. So I think despite the misconceptions and also some of the barriers that are there, including legislative barriers, make it complex to move rules offshore, that is a definite momentum. The third area, I think, in terms of a particular trend in shared services in the government area, I think over the last 18 months or so, there's been a lot of negativity in government around shared services. Some of that's for real reasons, that it hasn't delivered, and some of it's just political games. Notwithstanding that, we're seeing signs that shared services in government, that interest will swing around over the next 12 months. We're already seeing it in a couple of jurisdictions. You have a lot of, if you like, half-pregnant shared services operations in government, in a number of the state governments. So that's been a trend, but we think there'll be a reaction against that trend because the way things are can't stay in government. I think there's probably several dimensions. One is the cloud. The take-up of cloud computing is increasing. There's still a lot of apprehension, misunderstanding, but nonetheless we're definitely seeing organisations, in some cases dipping their toe, in some cases doing much more than that, embracing it. I think the opportunity for shared services to change their cost base, for organisations to change from a full ownership and cost model to a kind of pay-as-you-use kind of model is definitely going to continue. A couple of other things around, I think, digital. One is mobility, the use of personal devices and all sorts of tools. I think that will have implications for shared services in terms of how its people work and how it interfaces with the business. I think some of the technology tools, business intelligence tools and so on, I think a lot of organisations have made investments in these areas, are still to get the benefit from it. I think the whole kind of digital disruption impact is actually forcing organisations to look at some of these tools in finance, in HR, and shared services has a definite role and obligation to actually, to kind of embrace some of these tools. So we're certainly seeing, yes, it will change, the impact of digital is very much dependent on what industry you're in. Some industries such as retail, financial services, big disruption. Others such as mining, manufacturing, much less. But as a general comment, shared services is right in the middle of that. To me, we thought carefully and long. Deloitte's not an organisation that necessarily makes a lot of investments around industry events and so on, but for us, this is the premier event. Basically, you know, any organisation of significance that's working around shared services, outsourcing, is represented or has been represented. I think the biggest thing to me is you always learn. You learn from what other organisations are doing. There are fresh ideas that you go, wow, I hadn't even heard of that, I hadn't even thought about that. And there's the networking and collaboration. I know that apart from the week itself, I personally, I know that a lot of the delegates network and build networks that they can leverage and for the long term. So I think that's real value for it.